All right, it's time to ask the question. I didn't think it'd be time to ask the question this early on into his career, but it's time to ask the question, is Jalen Carter an elite defender for the Philadelphia Eagles? Obviously, if you're not paying attention to the draft, if you're not a draft person, Carter, many people had as their favorite non-quarterback in the draft. However, due to some off-the-field concerns, he fell in the draft. And by concern, specifically one incident, which you can Google if you want to learn more about that. But since then, the Eagles said, hey, we'll take a chance on him, and it's so far worked out. I want to start off with some films. Starting off with a play like this, I'm not even going to necessarily just show his sacks and stuff like that, although we'll get into that a little bit as well. I just kind of want to show what he's doing on an every snap basis, which is just being a nuisance. I mean, he's just someone you have to deal with if you're a team going up against him. This play, Dallas has a good offensive line. This is going to be Tyler Smith, who's having a great season at guard, who's blocking Carter, and watch what happens. Right when this play begins, Prescott takes the snap, and you see pretty quickly what Carter is doing. Carter has his left arm onto Smith's right side of his body. He's going to try to get over in that direction. Carter's going to pull his own right arm further towards the right side of the screen. And watch how well he's able to do it. So well, in fact, he moved a little bit too far, and I think Tyler Smith helped out a little bit, said, okay, I'll get you over there, with the stunt that's going on, I can still get over and now block someone else. So, good job by Smith, but also good job by Carter, both doing a good job in my opinion. Well, now you got to deal with Zach Martin. I mean, really, and not exactly the easiest, offensive lineman to go up against. Zach Martin, potentially a future Hall of Fame guard for Dallas. You see that Carter has his left arm on Martin's right side of his body. And watch how he does Martin was, I think, on skates for a little bit. Eventually, Prescott gets outside the pocket. Carter is able to, hurry him and, to make something happen. Listen, this is not a win by Carter. I want to be very clear here. I'm not saying like, oh my God, can you believe he did this? Because some people might be saying, well, Dallas blocked him. Yeah, they did. But these are his losses. That's just what I want to say. His losses are this. Like, this is another one you would qualify as a loss. One thing that I was really surprised by, actually, is how often he's getting double-teamed. I mean, he's getting double-teamed, I feel like, more than anyone on that Eagles defensive line, which is saying something, given the players they have on that defensive line. And Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox. It's insane to have those three guys, Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, and Jordan Davis, who are, Cox is having a bounce-back year. Jordan Davis and Carter, both fantastic. But watch when this play begins, and watch how really immediately the guard on that play, Tyler Smith, not able to get much going for Carter at all. So now it's really, you just have a center to worry about. And watch Carter kind of throw that center off to the side, and unfortunately, as he was doing that, Prescott threw a touchdown. So, hey, if you're Dallas, you're not concerned about losing that. But still, I mean, the fact that Carter can do those kind of things, and oftentimes it does feel like the only thing that can stop him is getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, which is, the way any pass rusher can get stopped. But still, it's great stuff by Carter to do this. And then there's some plays like this where what's going to happen on this one is it's going to be, he's going up against the center right here. And it's actually not going to be a win once again because the guard is going to come over and help out. But he doesn't know that at the time, right? All he knows is that there is a center who's going to be blocking him. So watch what he's going to do with this. Watch him kind of pull off the swim move where you see his hands are just what's so impressive, right? That's what, in college, what you just saw him do so consistently was, yeah, he's one of these big guys, but I think part of why he's been able to make this transition so well is some of these big interior defensive linemen in college really rely on their size. They rely on their strength, and they just hope that they can consistently make those kind of plays at the NFL level. Once you get to the NFL level, everyone's big as you, everyone's as strong as you. You have to find other ways. But for Carter, he's not just a big, strong guy. He's also, really good with his hands. He really has the technique down. I mean, you see right here, I mean, this could be, in a textbook on how to do this. You have your left arm over, getting the left arm on the right side of the center you're going up against. Right arm is going over it. Really good stuff. As you see, like I said, there was help on the play. So Carter, I think wasn't fully sure that was happening, wasn't able to get over and make a play. But if that was a one-on-one matchup, he 100% would have been able to make something happen very quickly. But okay, enough of, hey, these are impressive plays. Jackson, we want to see some fun plays. We want to see a sack. Okay, I'll get you a sack. Make sure I don't show a whole go through a whole video without showing at least one sack. So here we go. Jalen Carter, you see where he is on the screen right here. Watch what he's going to do. So right off the bat, you see that both those offensive linemen are in the area. Now, the guard is actually leaning over towards the right on this play, so it's not exactly a one-on-one matchup, but it's kind of a one-on-one matchup. But I've talked a lot about Carter. I've talked about his strength. I've talked about his hands. But let's talk about his footwork. And I think his footwork is something that is another really underrated aspect of his game. Guys who are 315 pounds shouldn't be able to move like he does. Watch him get that right hand on the left side and get through. I mean, that's just, look at that. I don't even really know what to say other than watch that play. It was fantastic. So the highlights are there. His low lights are not that low, right? His losses still feel relatively impressive. He checks every single box. His, footwork is great. His hands are great. His strength is great. But you know me, I've always kind of been someone who says you can't just watch the film when it comes to pass rushers. I think looking at numbers is important. I think that is a good, important aspect of evaluating a pass rusher. Because sometimes someone's, best 5 snaps of the game look fantastic, but they only win 5 times a game, or maybe even not as many as those, which can cause them to get overhyped. Is that the case with Carter? Well, if you look at his numbers, no, and if anything, it's the other way around, because his numbers are ridiculously good. So we're going to go through each of these numbers one by one just to explain what they are. So first, overall, just his overall PFF grade, that's what that is. Second best in football among interior defensive linemen. These are all among interior defensive linemen, not counting edge rushers or anything like that. So second best in football already as a rookie. That's pretty good. And again, it is worth mentioning, some guys have higher snap counts. He's played 250 snaps this season, which is a good number for his position. A little bit on the low side halfway through the year, but a good number. And that's just how Philadelphia does it, right? They rotate guys in and out. But if we go through his other numbers, you have his run defense is 23rd, so I guess that's the downside. He's only the 23rd best interior defensive lineman, and when it comes to run defense, which again, it's out of 126 eligible players. So that's still really good. And you see, because he's 5th best in pass rush, and you see that the fact that he's actually top 25 in both 5th best at pass rush and top 25 at run defense, that's kind of what makes him so good. It's a lot of guys, when they're top 5 in pass rush, their run defense is going to falter because of it, or vice versa. For Carter, though, he's a better pass rusher, but he's still a great run defender. Like a top 25 run defender, you'll pay $10 million for, even if they suck at pass rush. So a guy that is great at pass rush, it's impressive. Hurries, it's a PFF stat, kind of like pressures. He's 5th best at that stat among interior defensive linemen. Win percentage is currently 5th best. So that's, how often do you win? Not necessarily are you creating a pressure. It kind of is a good stat to use, I think, because it factors in the time you have to try and win. Obviously, there are some times when you get a sack after the play has gone on for 5 seconds. You get the sack, but it's a bit misleading. I think win percentage kind of helps negate that. And then pressures, he's currently tied with a couple players for 7th most pressures out of that position, according to Pro Football Reference. So numbers, incredible. The numbers are insane. I can't remember the last time an interior defensive lineman came in and was this good right away. That's usually that doesn't happen at that position. Does it mean he's going to only get better? If that's the case, I don't know how good he can get, because that would be outstanding. My guess is he's going to be an elite player for a long time. Is Jalen Carter elite? He's playing like an elite player, so I'd have to say yes right now. That's kind of how I view all of this. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.